To say the British Armed Forces have been tested in recent times is an understatement. Servicemen and women have battled long and hard on front lines, resulting in both casualties and injuries. But how do these brave men and women find rehabilitation? Here's the story of something quite unique. During the summer of 2012, a group of former armed servicemen injured in the line of duty took on a whole new challenge. With the support of charity Mission Motorsport, they were to enter the UK's biggest 24-hour endurance race. This is their story.
They're three very different characters, and they deal with it all in different ways. And so we have to meet their needs and to make sure that, that they're set up in the right way for when they get in the car. But I'm incredibly proud of how they've got here. I mean, it's just an extraordinary journey.
It is a bit surreal, really. Like, to think, way back then when I first got injured, laying in hospital, that I'll be like a year and a half down the line, I'll be like racing at Silverstone in one of the biggest races in the UK.
I didn't think I could be here. It's all happened really quick and it's just amazing.
The excitement's definitely building up. I mean, even walking onto the track now, seeing all these people around and all the cameras, people taking pictures and all that, it's incredibly exciting here. Just can't wait, it's freaking buzzing.
But it all started long before the crowds and cameras at Silverstone. Headley Court is a rehabilitation centre in Surrey for members of the armed forces. Along with major injuries including loss of limbs, Headley Court also rehabilitates those who suffer from the psychological effects of war. It's here where members of the Mission Motorsport team began their rehabilitation. Long-term, Mission Motorsport philosophy is a continuation of rehabilitation. Race, retrain and recover.
The Forces Motorsport charity is a registered charity which was established this year in order to unify various efforts which are looking at finding opportunities for our wounded soldiers through motorsport. So we took them racing, and very successfully, and that's kind of grown in momentum until at the end of last year the British Army formally asked me to look at how we can better do it as part of recovery activity, and hence we formed Mission Motorsport, which is the Forces Motorsport charity.
In 2003, I was diagnosed with PTSD after a rather horrendous tour in Iraq. Part of the trouble I was having with that was interacting with other people, especially people I don't know, going to strange places and just having no confidence. But with Mission Motorsports, because it will progress, and already it's working quite fine.
I think one of the things Mission Motorsport's done for me is give me a bit more purpose. It's nice to see the lads who were coming through the later conflicts in Iraq and Afghanistan in particular, having something that they can latch onto that gives them that little break into Civvy Street and some more excitement. It's a really exciting environment.
The stuff that's behind me here is part of our training for the Britcar 24-hour race, which is really the pinnacle, I think, probably of our tarmac activities during the course of this year. And that's really pushing the bounds of the sport, and it's pushing the bounds of what traditionally is done as part of recovery.
In preparation for the Britcar 24-hour, the team experienced an intense summer of training. Press days in the media spotlight, simulation testing at Silverstone, advice from five-time Le Mans driver Derek Bell, as well as support from championship-winning race team RJN. After months of training and planning, the Britcar 24-hour is here.
It's easy to find our car on the grid because it's the one with the most people around it. I mean, there's a real buzz around it.
My heart's going 10 to the dozen. Just can't wait to get out there now and do some driving.
I'm still down on the grid, actually.
Yeah, it's great that there's a lot of publicity around us, getting to know what we do and what we're here for. And it's good to get the name out.
I'm feeling a little bit nervous, But I'm so proud of everybody that it's all come together in such a short amount of time, that everyone's qualified to race. We've all had really good instruction. The support from RJM Motorsport, the support from Nissan, it's all come together massively, and really looking forward to it. We are going to finish on the podium. I can't guarantee that, but that's what we're hoping for.
We've got Jimmy Gilbourne in the car first. He's going to be our guy in order to go out and keep it nice and clean through the first few laps. This is a 24-hour race, so as Derek Bell reminds us on a number of occasions, you're not going to win it in the first couple of corners.
(2 p.m). The track is dry and the race begins.
Jimmy, of course, he's our youngest racer, and he's also the guy who perhaps has got the least experience. But I've always been really impressed with Jimmy and how he's able to think laterally, and he's got capacity to deal with traffic and deal with issues.
It was pretty good first stint. It was quite consistent on the lap time. It was quite a quick pace as well, so I think I did quite well for the team. A couple of little scary moments, just went in a little bit too quick with some cars around me, a bit of fluster, but settled myself back down, got back on the racing line and racing pace and carried on, and the car's doing really well.
Well done, guys. 2 minutes 36 seconds. Excellent.
The team encounter a problem and it's not the start they wanted. The car comes into the pits with a puncture.
Coming onto the main straight, just hit the apex, boom, it just exploded. So that was a bit airy. So it took me a few minutes to trundle around the track trying to avoid all the traffic. So that was pretty unnerving. It was a good stint. And then I knocked about 7 seconds a lap off once I came in, got new tyres on, and then cracked on straight away. It was quite good.
Obviously, it's one of those things, and the tyres, we're also learning about how far we can sort of push them and how much life we can get out of them. So that was at about the 2-hour stage for a set of slicks. But different drivers, and this is part of it for the guys, is they've got to learn how to look after their tyres as well, and I think that's part of the learning experience that they're doing too. So clearly we dropped back a little bit on time, but it's a long race, so there's lots of opportunity to get back in. Seven hours into the race, it's interesting just sort of watching things begin to shake themselves out now as well. We're also seeing a lot more of other traffic. I mean, we were overtaking some things in that last stint that I really wasn't expecting to be, but it's going really well. I think we were down, sort of 27th at one point. We're up to 17th, at the point where I've just come into the pits. So running longer stints now, making those tyres last, and the car's beginning to move up through the field, and that's a really good feeling.
Yeah. Team's looking pretty good at the minute. Jim done a double stint, then I got in and did just a normal single stint, and now Chris has gone out, he'll probably do a double stint himself. And if we can keep going at the pace we're doing now and just keep slowly notching ourselves up the ranks, and I think we'll do pretty well.
It's 3:55 a.m. and the team are almost 14 hours into the race. The car is going well.
Right across in front of me. I'm sorry, lads. I'm really sorry. Drove out the pit lane and straight across in front of me. Safety car lights go out, and of course it's the big sprint away. And I actually, I just dropped the hammer and went and turned into cops completely on my own, coming through cops at pace. And a car, it was just extraordinary. It came out of the pit lane and was directly across the circuit at 90 degrees to where I was going. So hit the back of that car with the front left-hand corner of the Z behind me. It's just heartbreaking. I think they've managed something quite extraordinary, but we're going to have to wait and see. But the key thing with it is It's about the team.
We're 19 hours into the race. The car felt exactly how I left it. I think we're mid-pack of our class. We was a lot higher until the little accident, but it's an endurance race. Somebody might brake later.
An amazing end to the race, really. We've got about 7 minutes to go, and it's all pretty surreal. Enormously proud of the team and everybody, so it's going to be quite a good celebration, I think. Here he comes!
I'm flipping ecstatic. We've finished. We've done it, and so happy. The car's been brilliant. It's one of the happiest days of my life.
So it's an extraordinary achievement. I mean, just amazing. And then for Jimmy to win the driver of the day, you know, he was our driver who started for us, he was our driver who finished the race for us. And, you know, and we consider Jimmy to be a trophy, so we're delighted to accept his very expensive watch on behalf of all of us, and we're going to share it. Yeah, there we go.
Wiki.
I'm very honoured and proud and pleased that they gave it to me. Obviously, knowing some of the drivers that are here, like the calibre and the level they drive at, to give it to me and like to prove that I can do it is a great achievement in my eyes, and I'm very proud of myself.
A few people have sort of said it was an incredibly ambitious project getting here. But thinking back, I don't ever think that I was worried that we wouldn't do it. I always knew that we would. And the reason why I knew that we would is because I've just got absolute faith in the quality of the people involved. So you know that they're going to overcome it, and you know that they're going to find a way in order to make things work. And so that's why, you know, ultimately, I suppose in my heart of hearts, I was always sort of quite confident that we've got it, and why I'm not particularly surprised that we have. But God, it feels wonderful.